2B2T's signature highway system, the de facto way for players to travel long distances on the server, one of the most prominent points for controversy, cooperativeness, and history. A highway system so large that it has broken world records. A highway system so long that it is still a continuous project after almost 10 years. A highway system so grand that you can't help but wonder, what's the history behind it? When 2B2T first went live during the end of 2010 and players started joining, people built a few small overworld tunnels going to certain places. But other than these, the highways didn't really exist yet. People just walked where they needed to go via the overworld. And it stayed that way, until May of 2011, a few months after the server went live. This is when the Nether was added to multiplayer servers. The Nether added a few nice things, like, well actually the Nether didn't really do much in the beta versions of Minecraft. But the one thing it did add was fast travel. Basically, 1 block in the Nether is 8 blocks in the overworld. So if you travel to places in the Nether, you would travel 8 times as fast as you would if you were traveling via the overworld. People dug tunnels in the Nether to places that they wanted to travel to. These are far from the highways that we see today, but they were a start. Throughout 2011 to 2016, we saw a lot of expansion for the cardinal and diagonal highways. People just expanded them as far as they wanted to go. Over time, they grew and grew, all the way up until June 1st of 2016. Many of you already know what happened on that fateful day, when the Camping Rusher uploaded his video to 2B2T, boosting it to the position of one of the most popular Minecraft servers in the world. There was a massive influx of players, all of which wanted to get the hell out of Dodge, going as far out in the world as possible. This caused the highways to expand at a very fast rate, but for one player, it wasn't enough. His premise was simple. He was going to dig the X+ highway to the world border, or die trying. Burnsy joined the server around September of 2012, and he was as remarkably boring and average as 2B2T players got. He was a solo player building out far in the world, only to occasionally type in chat or go to spawn, and his participation in the third incursion was limited to being killed by the other incursion members. However, his career started to pick up during the Russia War, which he had pretty active participation in, and afterwards, he ended up being part of the Drain, one of the most well-known bases on 2B2T. But after the Drain was griefed, he got bored of solo building, and sought to do something new, something that would forever cement him into 2B2T history. So he killed back to spawn, and on December 13th, 2016, made his infamous post to the 2B2T subreddit. The premise was simple. Reach the world border or die trying. The world border is 30 million blocks from spawn, and I'll be doing it on the +X highway, hopefully completing that highway on the way. The final goal would be to have a base at the border. You are correct to doubt me. I fully expect I will fail, but why not try? During this conquest, he ended up meeting many people along the way willing to help, and founded the first real 2B2T highway group, known as the Nether Highways Group. This group continued to dig until finally, on March 28th, 2017, the final blocks of the highway to the +X world border were completed. But Burnsy wasn't done. Right after he and his group finished the X+ highway, he embarked on a new project, somehow an even harder highway project than the X+ highway. Burnsy began digging the +XZ+ highway, a diagonal highway, meaning that there would be approximately 50% more blocks that would have to be dug to complete the highway. And on October 8th of 2017, they completed that too. Burnsy attempted to continue the momentum past that, but struggled. People started leaving the group and killing back to spawn, and without a movement exploit at the time, there was no going back. The group was effectively disbanded. However, they did inspire the conceivement of a new group, known as the Spawn Infrastructure Group, or SIG for short. Their main purpose was to manage and expand the 2B2T highways. They got the intention of 2B2T, but their 12 days of SIG memes on the 2B2T subreddit, which gave them a boost of people joining the cause. Towards the end of 2017, the group VOCO, otherwise known as the Vortex Coalition, by far the largest group in all Anarchy servers at the time, acquired SIG, and that's where they sat for a very long time, as the last undisputed word on all things related to the 2B2T highways, until a few years later, when a group of players attempted to dethrone them. Sometime around July of 2019, players The Fifth Age and Adam8067 created a small highway group known as the Northeast Highway Group. Their first real activity was building the +X -Z highway all the way to 80K, a very large feat for just 2 people. The group attempted to join the SIG Discord server and claim credit for the work that they had done. However, found they couldn't. They'd overwhelmed the flimsy, not well put together credit system that SIG had. Adam and the Fifth Age were outraged that they couldn't claim their credit. But it wasn't SIG's only problem. SIG didn't specify if the highways had to be in a specific pattern, or even what material they were supposed to be paved out of. This meant that 2B2T highways were an unorganized mess, with some stretches being larger than others, and random patches of blocks that weren't obsidian, the main block for the 2B2T highways because of its blast-resistant capabilities. So the group decided to do something about it. They rebranded as the Independent Interstate Society, or IIS for short, and bring a few more people on with the intention of revolutionizing the expansion and management of the 2B2T Nether highway system. And that's exactly what they did. The first real activity of the group was, well, fixing the highways. There was so much of a mess at that point that there was more destruction than construction at first, but over the next few weeks and months they got it done. During late August of 2019, a month or two after the Discord was founded, the group saw a big influx of players joining, wanting to help out with the highways, and on November 14th of the same year, the SIG Discord was nuked, basically disbanding the group. A new Discord was created a few days later, but SIG never got traction, and on March 10th, 2021, the Vortex Coalition disbanded, taking SIG with it, essentially giving the IIS free reign over the highways. But back to 2019, where a friendship is brewing. On October 15th of 2019, player Citadel2222 was digging to the negative world border. He stopped at the 5 million block milestone and decided to build a checkpoint like Burnsy had done during his journey. While he was building, however, player Illville502 stumbled across him. The pair quickly became friends and decided to continue building the highway together. So they hopped into the Nether and wait, what was this? The highway had been dug an extra bunch of blocks. Citadel and Illville got in contact with the person who had dug the extra blocks, who turned out to be named Veryvon, and they decided to continue the project together. On that day, November 28th, 2019, the Motorway Extension Gurus, or MEG for short, were formed. Over the next few months, the trio met more and more people as they dug and dug, until finally, a few months later, they finished. The massive YouTuber, Celsi1, ended up making a video on their accomplishment, as it was the world record for the longest highway built in survival, sending hundreds of people in the group. They then continued to dig out all the diagonals, and do some great work on the ring roads, which connected all of the main highways together. And they're still a thriving group to this day. But wait, what happened to the IIS? Oh, well, growing tensions and controversy in the group actually led to them disbanding on November 17th, 2020. But Adam, the co-founder of IIS, went on to found the Highway Workers Union, a hilariously Russian communist-themed Discord server focused on maintenance of the 2B2T highways. Wow, and that's where we are today, in 2021, with MEG and the Highway Workers Union working together on maintenance and expansion of the 2B2T highways. So as you can see, the highways of 2B2T are one of the coolest examples of politics and controversies on the server. And I didn't even touch on to all of the overworld highways and the vast majority of controversies concerning the nether ones. It's a very interesting topic, and I encourage you to watch the Celsi1 video on MEG, as it's also very interesting. Anyways, if you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you in a week or two. Bye!